Hello students. Today we are going to discuss subtracting integers. In order to subtract integers, technically we are going to work with the additive inverse and we're going to essentially just be adding. So as long as you were successful in adding integers, you will be successful in subtracting integers. To subtract an integer, we are going to add the opposite, the additive inverse. So let's just try some examples. I'm going to skip down to some of the examples from class. Let's start with 6 minus 9. If I have a 6 and I'm going to subtract a 9, what the additive inverse says is take your 6 and instead of subtracting, add. So I'm going to not subtract, but I'm going to add. And I'm going to add the opposite of the number. So if the number was a positive 9, I'm going to add a negative 9. Then, as a recap from yesterday, I'm going to work with my tug of war idea or your number line idea or whatever works in your head. And I'm going to say, okay, I have 6 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 9 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What do I have more of? I have more negatives, so I know negative's going to be my answer. And how many more do I have? I have 3 more. So the answer to this would be negative 3. One way to look at it is to use the tug of war. But again, all we did is take this subtraction problem and we turned it into adding and we changed this number to the opposite. In class, one of the little catchphrases we talked about was tick-tock. So let me give you another example here. If I had 15 minus 6. Now some of you can probably do this just from your elementary days, but let's look at it a little bit differently as a pre-algebra exercise. And according to the additive inverse, I'm going to take in this 6, and instead of subtracting, I'm going to add it, and the opposite to be a negative 6. But the cute little catchphrase that we talked about in class was tick-tock. Tick-tock. Notice what I did there. I changed this to a plus and put a minus up here. Tick-tock. Same thing as additive inverse. Same idea what we did up here. Now, instead of doing the tug of war example to remind us on how to add, we can talk just about remembering in our head, okay, which one is bigger? The 15, the positive, has a bigger absolute value. And so my answer is going to be positive. And what is the subtractum then? What is the difference? Well, 15 minus 6 is 9. So the answer would be a positive 9. How about 16 minus 21? 16 minus 21. I'm just going to stick with the tick-tock. Tick-tock. Now what I have is an addition problem, just like yesterday. 16 plus a negative 21. 16 plus negative 21. I'm going to have more negatives because 21 has more negatives, so it has a higher absolute value, so I take its sign. And then I just subtract the two. 21 minus 16 is 5. So my answer would be negative 5. Let's try another example before we leave. 7 minus 13. Not leave completely, just leave this page. All right, 7 minus 13. Again, I'm going to change this to adding. So add and make that a negative 13. Again, another way, tick-tock. So ask yourself the question, which one is winning? What team is winning? Well, the negatives are winning. By how many? 6. Hopefully I did that right. Those are negative 6. That would be my answer. These were just some more sample problems. Go ahead, pause your machine, and see if you get the right answer. Hopefully when you come back, you had an answer of negative 4. Go ahead, pause again. Oh, wait, nope, not on a problem like this. I apologize. So let's talk about a problem like this. I'm going to create some of our own. And a problem that we might have would be negative 8 minus 10. Well, what's interesting about this problem is now we have a negative out front. So a common question is, well, which one do I tick-tock? Which one do I do the additive inverse? All you really need to do the additive inverse for is this last one. So tick-tock. But Miss Bednar, what if I make a mistake and I go tick-tock here? Well, if I did that, does it change anything? No, because if I circle the number and sign in front here, and circle the number and sign in front here, it's still a negative 8 plus a negative 10. So what team is this on? Negative team. What team? Negative team. They're all on the negative team, and there are 18 of them. Let's try another one. Negative 6 minus 5. Negative 6 minus 5, tick-tock. 6 negatives plus 5 negatives. They're all negatives. There are 11. Go ahead, pause your machine, figure it out, come back. Hopefully you found the answer to be negative 8. Yeah, you might be a little confused because your answer wasn't as one of the choices. It was hiding. But negative 8 would be your answer. Okay, subtracting an integer. Now notice here the difference is the fact that we have two negative signs next to each other. So let me give you another example of a problem. Let's try 20 minus negative 5. So I could kind of try my tick-tock. I could do my additive inverse. Remember that means to switch this to adding, do the inverse or opposite of this number, which would be a regular 5. And this turns into 20 plus 5, which is 25. However, it's kind of fun to have little catchphrases once in a while. And one thing that we noticed is that this minus a negative turned into a positive or turned into a plus. So I can just take these two negatives and I connect them together and I make a chunky plus. It looks more like a cross. Let's fill it up here. Chunky plus. So now it is 20 plus 5, which is 25. So however you want to solve that, if you want to do the chunky plus or the additive inverse, you can choose. Let's do another example. Let's try 17 minus negative 8. 17 minus negative 8. I'm going to chunky plus. And the chunky plus brings me to 25 as a total. All right, let's try another problem. Go ahead, try this on your own, hit pause. When you came back, hopefully you had an answer of 18. Okay, this puts it all together. So let's try another example other than this one. What happens if I have a negative 6 minus negative 2? Negative 6 minus negative 2. Well, there's a lot going on here, and so you got to do them all. Don't skip anything. I see a chunky plus here, so I'm going to chunky plus that together. And now I have negative 6 plus 2. It's already adding, so I can just solve this the way it is. Who's going to win? Negative team or positive team? Well, the negative team is. They have more players. And by how many? 4. So my answer for that is negative 4. All right. Hopefully you were able to follow just some subtracting integers. If not, Khan Academy. If you Google that, it's another great resource for you. If you Google that and you click on their website or their link, you can search at subtracting integers, and it will also give you another lesson that you can follow. Remember, your book is also online with some additional help if you went to glencoe.com and looked up your book. That would also give you a little bit more access to another online personal teacher. I hope that this helped you a little bit if you were unable to follow in class or if you were sick, and I can't wait to see you the next day.